Hello and welcome to Bright English Point. Today, we will talk about a very interesting mystery from history. It is the story of Ambrose Bierce and how he disappeared. Ambrose Bierce was an American writer, journalist, and soldier. He is famous for his funny and dark writings. Many people know him for his book, The Devil's Dictionary, and for his short stories about war. During the American Civil War, he fought as a soldier, and this time changed his life. His stories often talked about life, death, and the strange parts of the world. Bierce was not only a great writer but also a man who liked mystery. He often wrote about things that made readers feel curious and sometimes even a little scared. His work makes us wonder about the truth behind life and death. Ambrose Bierce liked to study the unknown. He was very interested in things like life after death and strange events. Many of his stories mix real life with strange or magical ideas. For example, in his famous story An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, he makes the reader wonder what is real and what is not. Bierce also had a hard life. He lost both of his sons, and his marriage ended in divorce. These sad events made him even more interested in the darker side of life. Some people say that all his troubles made him see the world in a unique way. He learned to find meaning in difficult and sad things. When Ambrose Bierce was in his 70s, he decided to go on a great adventure. At that time, Mexico was in a state of war and change because of the Mexican Revolution. A revolution is a time when many people fight for change, and it can be very dangerous. Bierce was not like most older men. Instead of staying home, he wanted to see the truth of life in a place of great chaos. He wanted to write more stories based on real events. Before he left, he wrote a letter to a friend. In that letter, he said, "I leave here tomorrow for an unknown destination." These words show that he was ready for anything, even if he did not know what would happen next. He traveled from Texas into northern Mexico. He planned to join the group of soldiers led by a famous man named Pancho Villa. Villa was a leader in the revolution, and his group fought for change. Bierce wanted to see the war up close. He hoped to learn from the events happening around him and write about them later. After traveling in Mexico, Ambrose Bierce was last seen in a town near the border. The last letter he wrote came from the city of Chihuahua in December 1913. In that letter, he mentioned the loud sounds of cannons and the danger that surrounded him. After that, no one heard from him again. There were some stories that said people had seen him with Villa's soldiers. But none of these stories were clear or confirmed. Soon, Bierce simply vanished. No one found his body, and his personal belongings were never seen again. This sudden loss made many people wonder, what really happened to him? Over the many years since his disappearance, people have tried to guess what happened to Ambrose Bierce. Here are some ideas. Killed by fighters. Some people believe that Bierce was killed by revolutionaries. His strong and sometimes harsh words might have angered some leaders in Mexico. In a dangerous time like a revolution, many lives were at risk, and it is possible that he became a victim of the conflict. Captured or taken prisoner. Another idea is that Bierce was captured by soldiers. When a country is in chaos, strangers can be mistaken for spies or enemies. Maybe the soldiers thought he was dangerous, and he was taken away. Some even think that he was held as a prisoner for a time, but no one was ever told what happened to him. Chose to disappear. There is also a theory that Bierce decided to disappear on his own. He had lived a full life with many hardships, and some say he might have wanted a quiet end. He might have left his old life behind so that his end would be as mysterious as his stories. Lost in the desert. Some people think that Bierce may have walked into the big, empty desert of northern Mexico. The land there is very harsh and dangerous. If he got lost, he might not have been able to survive on his own. This idea makes us think of his life as a journey that ended quietly in nature. Even after more than 100 years, no one can say for sure what happened to him. Historians and experts have looked for clues, but the truth remains hidden. This mystery is much like one of Bierce's own stories, full of questions and no clear answers. Bierce's disappearance has affected many people. Writers, historians, and fans of his work still talk about him today. His story has become a symbol of mystery. Many believe that his life and his final journey are as interesting as his stories. Because he vanished without a trace, many movies and books have been made about him. His life makes us wonder about the thin line between reality and fiction. His mystery reminds us that sometimes the truth is hard to find. His disappearance also teaches us that life is full of unknown events that we may never understand. Over the years, many people have tried to write books or make movies about Ambrose Bierce. They ask questions like, why did he leave his life behind? And, was his end a planned mystery? These stories add many ideas to the mystery. Some films show him as a brave explorer who went to the edge of the world. Others show him as a man who wanted to leave his past behind. In many ways, Bierce became more famous after he disappeared. People remembered him not only for his writing but also for his mysterious end. His life has become a legend, a tale that grows with each telling. Because we do not know the ending, every story about him is open to new ideas and dreams. Today, Ambrose Bierce is remembered as a great writer and a mysterious figure. His stories are still read in schools and colleges, and his life continues to be a topic of discussion. The mystery of his disappearance makes him a true icon of history and literature. For many, his story is a lesson in the power of mystery. His life shows that even when we know a lot about someone, there are still parts that remain hidden. The unanswered questions about his disappearance invite us to explore and think deeper. His life reminds us that sometimes the best stories are those that are not fully solved. Ambrose Bierce's story teaches us several things. First, it shows that life can be full of unexpected events. We may plan our journeys, but sometimes life takes a different path. Second, his mystery reminds us that history is full of questions. Not every story has a clear answer, and that is what makes them interesting. For students of English, Bierce's story is a good example of how language can create mystery and wonder. His simple words and clever ideas still move us today. By reading his work and learning about his life, we can also learn new English words and improve our language skills. Ambrose Bierce once wrote, "I am a misfit." Perhaps he meant that he did not fit in a world that could not understand his thoughts. His choice to go on a dangerous journey into the unknown may have been his way of finding a place where he belonged. His life, full of pain and wonder, ended in a mystery that still touches us today. Even though we may never know what truly happened to him, the mystery of his life makes us think. It reminds us that every person has secrets and that not all stories have a clear ending. In many ways, his disappearance is a story in itself, one that continues to inspire curiosity and imagination. Thank you for watching this video on the mysterious disappearance of Ambrose Bierce. We hope you enjoyed this story and that it helped you learn English in a fun and interesting way. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, subscribe to Bright English Point for more true stories and mysteries told in simple English.